Hi everyone, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the daily forecast. It is for all signs. It is a broad spectrum reading, so you need to figure out if or where it fits in your life, if at all. It is originally created for Wednesday, the 10th of May. If you're seeing it on a different date, but it makes sense to your situation, your current situation, by all means utilize the reading. I do believe that readings can be timeless and find us when we need them rather than when they were originally created for. But for those of you that tune in regularly, we're just building upon the energy. Please be aware that if I refer to cards that you don't see in this video, I'm usually referring back to the Sunday underpinning reading. That video is sort of the energy that's happening in the background or underpinning sort of everything that we're seeing day to day. So that video populates in the lower left hand corner at the end of this video if you want to watch it to get further insight. For those of you that are new, please check out my drop down menu underneath any of my daily videos. In there is just some information I want you to be aware of, like general housekeeping rules and things I want you to think about when utilizing the channel. Also what decks I'm using in the reading, how to contact me via social media if you want to follow me or contact me for a private reading. You can do that through my Facebook business page or through my Instagram. Know that I will never initiate a sale of a reading. Like, I won't hit you up to sell you a private reading. If anybody ever does, saying they're me, it's not me. You would always have to reach out to me first. There's also simple ways of supporting the channel. You can do so by hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing to the channel if you're new, and hitting that notification bell so that you get notified when I do put up a new video. I put up daily content. Sharing the video out is a great way to support the channel, and also hitting that thumbs up button and leaving me a question or comment. I greatly appreciate all of that. So let's get into this and see what our card is for the day. So our card is the Page of Wands. Interesting because yesterday we had the Page of Pentacles. And underpinning this from Sunday is the Eight of Pentacles, which is about doing sort of work. Wands is the drive of spirit. It's the element of fire, right? The Page of Wands is like new adventures, new travel, new opportunities, getting excited about those things. Probably the most excited of the pages, right? Yesterday's Page of Pentacles gave me this vibe of like sort of a planting of new seeds, new ideas. We have the Magician from the Sunday reading leading into this week, so that's also about creativity. The Page of Wands would indicate beginning to take action towards moving towards whatever it is we're trying to plant from yesterday's Page of Pentacles or create from the Magician, right? Underpinning this is that Eight of Pentacles, which means we're ready to, put in the 3D work, make the choices, take the action, do the step-by-step work, pay attention to the details, and utilizing also like our experiences or our know-how to kind of put in effective steps forward. The fact that this is a page energy says to me that we may not have all of the answers right up front, right? This might be a little bit, I don't want to say scary, but unknown, because pages are always about learning, right? They're youthful, so there is an exuberance and an excitement about them, a willingness, an openness, because they're, like children in a way. But there's also this idea of being willing to take the risk or make the decision in the moment, especially with the Page of Wands. Wands can be very impulsive energy, but not in a bad way. This is about trusting maybe our gut, our spirit, where our desire lies, and following that. I love the light on the end of his wand. It's almost like he's allowing that to be his guide. So whatever inspiration comes to us today in a flash or in a, is like, I don't know, working around in our gut as to what it is we desire, we should take action to move towards that. With the Eight of Pentacles underpinning this, it should be practical action, even if it's moving quickly, because this is the Page of Wands. So it could be like a split-second decision that needs to be made, where that puts into effect us taking grounded action towards actively producing the results that we want. So be prepared for that if we find something that sort of, I don't know why, this is not normally a Page of Wands thing, but it's the light on that wand. It feels like a realization takes place, or I don't know if awakening is the right word, but like an awakening or a realization that like, oh yeah, this is what I want, or this is the direction I'm going to move in. And when we do that, it is new, it is an adventure because it's the Page of Wands, but we'll do so with a steadiness and a dedication that the Eight of Pentacles presents, right? So I think that we're grounded, even though we might feel like we're making a quick change choice towards something new. But that something new should feel exciting, invigorating, and we should be open enough to it to allow us to teach us in the moment what decisions or actions we need to take to continue to move forward. Let's see what the Untamed Elemental card is. We have Whale. Interesting, because this is giving me Pisces vibes with the eyes on the whale, up and down like the fish, how they swim in both directions. One thing I'll say about whales is I love whales because they're the biggest mammal on the planet, right? So they probably have the biggest heart on the planet. They're also, I used to be obsessed with whales when I was a little kid. This is just a little backstory. I used to check out books on whaling from the library when I was in like second grade, and I would look at the pictures and cry, and my mom would be like, "Why do you bring these books home?" They upset you. And I said, somebody has to like feel for them. Somebody has to like. There was a period of when I was really young, I wanted to be an oceanographer because of whales. I was just obsessed with them. So that's just funny that this card shows up. I'm assuming this card is water. And I'm going to say this about the whale too. Whales move slowly. They're steady. They're water animals, right? So water has that ability to move around things in certain ways, even things that seem more solid or obtrusive or more of a hurdle in a way. But a whale can sort of like swim by with ease, with grace, even with a heaviness or a groundedness just in their sheer size that helps us to take on the challenge. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but I'm just gonna leave that there. But that's what I'm getting from whale. Let me read whale's story to you really quick. Also, whales are communicators too. They have a very, a lot of different sea creatures have really interesting, sonar and communication styles, like picking up on the more, because this is a water animal, right? It might be a little bit more emotional or intuitive in how we communicate or what we're picking up psychically. Venus has entered the sign of Cancer, so our emotions could be up around a romantic situation. We could be feeling more intuitively at this time, and whale would also represent that. But I think that our intuitions aren't going to be wrong. They're going to actually be strong, because whale would represent that strong in a way of like a gentle gracefulness. Or in like a sense of the word magnitude rather than, strong like forcing something. So here's whale. Oh, and whale's word is communication. Interesting. Vibrations of melodic patterns pulsate through his element, echoing and resounding in harmony. Whale swims to remote destinations, expressing a composed symphony that keeps Earth's magnetic fields in balance. He sends his calls far and wide by pressing his mouth to the ocean floor, summoning and selecting his mate through audible transference. He seduces with caution and tenderness. The magnetism of two hearts beating as one is real. A recognition exchanged. When there is an authentic connection, there is familiarity with oneself as much as with the other. He is the language of honesty, of transparency. Whale calls you to dive deeper in your communication. Authenticity is a salve that heals disconnection and makes you a magnet for healthy relationships. Notice when social conditioning overtakes your vulnerability. Is there a more honest part of yourself that is ready to be heard? Speak from your heart, and you will open the gate to others to speak from theirs. Your trustworthiness will shine. Compassion and truth will be the defining qualities of your communications, serving as a much needed balm to all humanity. The balanced version of whale is clear, authentic, direct, and compassionate. The imbalanced is disharmony, mistrust, or gossip, and to bring whale back into balance is to communicate with honesty, vulnerability, and truth. There's also, I will say this, a truth amongst the pages too, because they're so young, it's like from the mouth of babes. So speaking our truth about what we desire, maybe even if it's only that truth to ourselves today, and then taking practical action towards it could be key, right? And trusting that that communication that's coming from within us and following it. That's kind of the adventure or the travel that the Page of Wands can represent in moving forward. It may be new to us and we're willing to learn how to live from this new form of communication, but as we do so, we open doors for not only obviously learning, but to move forward in new directions that inspire us, excite us, or that we're desirous of. Now let's look at the clarifiers. We have the Six of Wands, more fire energy. We have the Six of Cups, water energy. And we have the Seven of Wands. So my first gut instinct is I want to say what came out of my mouth when I saw the Seven of Wands after everything is whatever it is we're looking at or dealing with, we're willing to fight for it. We're willing to stand our ground. That's sort of the communication of Whale, or the truth that comes from Whale, is that Seven of Wands. He's like sort of fighting off the other six wands there, but he has that 1 foot on higher ground, meaning he will be successful as long as he toes the line, holds his boundaries in place. This could very much be around a relationship for someone that may be watching, or a couple of you that are watching, only because the Six of Cups is here, and the Six of Cups is very much about past life, soulmates, families, the relationships that we love, harmony. It is definitely a card of harmony. Sixes represent harmony. So we could be looking at harmonizing our relationships in very deep ways. It may require some work, right? Because we have the Eight of Pentacles underpinning this and the Seven of Wands, which is a little bit of a fight or a push-pull energy. The Six of Wands indicates to me that we should be celebrated, or that there will be a victory of some sort, right? If we are dedicated and truthful and honest in what it is we're doing and why we're doing it, and we hold tight to that sort of love, that passion, that emotional compassion that the Six of Cups represents, and allow that to imbue the fire that we see here, because we do have a lot of Wands cards up on the board. We should be successful, right? We might even come into contact through the Six of Wands with some newfound understandings of who we are, or appreciations of who we are, or maybe who the other party is in this relationship sort of connection. And this other party doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It certainly can be with the Six of Cups here, but this could be, you know, harmonizing our friendships or our family members, our relationships with family members, or our boss even, or something to that effect. You know, sometimes bosses can be past life. I wouldn't call it a soulmate, but, you know, sometimes significant people that we work with that have a large charged effect on us, whether it is positive or negative, are usually people that we've incarnated with in the past. We just haven't realized it because we can't stand them for whatever reason. But whatever that may be, or however this manifests in your life, it looks like we are successful as long as we're willing to put the work in. And I think with the Eight of Pentacles and the Seven of Wands here, we certainly are. We have the fire and the drive to communicate what it is that we need, to communicate it with love and compassion, and to open new doors for new opportunities to transform within these relationships, so that hopefully we can move forward successfully, knowing ourselves a little bit better, the situation a little bit better, maybe finding a little bit more appreciation for the relationship or situation that we're dealing with, and ultimately maybe even celebrating it to a degree, rather than, say, fighting against it, or feeling, you know, stuck in the challenge of it all. If we've been in a challenging situation up until this point, this feels a little bit like a what's the word? I want to say a let up on the gas in a way, but I don't, that's not necessarily the correct. It just feels like a loosening of the grip is a better way to put it, because the let up on the gas doesn't connect because there's so much Wands energy here. To me, it feels like we can move forward rather quickly and passionately, or compassionately, but I think that there is a loosening of the grip of maybe how we thought we wanted the relationship to be, or turn out. That's the sort of the openness of the Page of Wands, is that there might be a new direction that we're heading that we didn't realize was possible, but we're realizing that we want it nonetheless, and we're willing to communicate it, and in communicating our needs and being willing to sort of fight for them and actively, you know, take practical steps towards them, we can attain them. All right, so let's see what the grounding stone is for today. And remember this week, guys, the grounding stone for the week is angels. So if anything's got us stumped this week, you know, or we're struggling, we need to call upon our angels, our spirit guides throughout this entirety of this week as these things transform in front of us, okay? And here is the grounding stone. The word is promise. I always think of promise as a, you know, sometimes it's a pact or a promise we make to ourselves, but also the idea of promise, like the opportunity, the promised land, like something here, or maybe it's a relationship or where our relationship's at. They hold something more than what we maybe previously realized. And I think that's sort of the openness that we need to turn towards and productively work towards. Stay focused and ground in the promise of things changing or opportunity arriving within our relationships so that they can maybe potentially heal, grow, or transform into more clearly communicated and connected relationships than maybe they have been in the past. And that in and of itself offers promise. Does that make sense? So look at the opportunities rather than the holdbacks or the negativities. Look to the positivity of all of this and the change. Believe it is so and it shall be, right? And then you just move towards it, fight for it, take steps towards it. That is your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel, share the video out, leave me a question or comment, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.